Welcome to session 4 of my method of t-shirt quilt making. In today's session we will talk about making the backing, how to get that ready, and then assembling the quilt top, batting, and backing to make burritos. So let's see how it's done. Today we're going to cut the backing and then assemble the backing, the batting, and the quilt top together so that we're ready to quilt. The backing is cut in strips. So this was a yard of fabric, and I just split it into 18-inch sections. So I have two pieces that are 18 inches long, and that's plenty for the strip that we have, the block plus the sashing. And you want a little extra because sometimes it tends to move a little bit. So this customer wants blocks on the back rather than one solid color. So I'll show you what I've done so far. I've sewn two pieces together. So one piece will look like this. One strip will look like this. So that's two. I'll need 6. We have 6 rows, so I'll need 6 strips of backing for our quilt. Laid out the backing strips so that you can kind of see how I've blocked those. This was the customer's wish rather than one solid color, solid strips. So I've just, once again, random lengths, random patterns. So here we have all the strips with the sashing attached. Here we have the strips of backing. And I have my bag of batting here in the chair. I'm going to use my dining room table to lay them out, assemble them, and pin them together. I just took my bag of batting and unrolled it and clipped off a strip wide enough to cover my first row. So I laid my strip, starting at the bottom. You see this is the one with the top and the bottom sashing. Lay it right side down on the table, and then my strip of batting that I cut goes right on top of that. Now I have my blocks right side down with the sashing. I have a strip of batting, and this is a strip of the backing. Okay, and it's just all laid together there. And now I'm going to flip it. All right, so I just flipped it over. Now you can see the quilt top, the quilt batting, and the quilt backing. Okay, the quilt backing is right side down. The quilt top is right side up. This is just the way the quilt's going to be assembled, or going to be quilted. We're assembling it right now. And I'm going to pin those, put a few pins in it. Now I put a few pins, just every couple of blocks, and you see that it's very ragged on the edges. They're not even. When we get done quilting, then we'll trim it and make it even. So there's the first one, and here's why we call it burritos. Okay, first burrito done. And back in my sewing room, all the burritos are done, and I'm ready to start quilting. We have all the strips together, ready to start quilting, all combined. So don't let the cover off my machine bother you. I keep it off so I can oil it, check the tension. It just suits me better that way. So I have the quilting thread I'm going to use, and this is, I chose a color that's going to blend well with the fabrics on the quilt. Don't want something that's going to stand out too much, something that's going to blend in. So this is a 100% cotton quilting thread, and I have prepared bobbins. I have a 4-6 ready right now. I probably will need more, but that's a good start. The foot that I use is the same one I use for embroidery. It has a spring on it, so it holds the fabric somewhat, but then it will move up and down according to the thickness. so it allows for the free motion quilting, which is what I'm going to be doing. And I have a pair of gloves. These are nitrile gloves. They're actually gardening gloves, but they help grip the fabric so I can move it around. So I wear a pair of nitrile gloves when I quilt. Alright, so I'm just about ready to begin. I have my machine all threaded, the bobbin's in, I have my gloves on, and I have just a test swatch here because you want to make sure that the tension is where it needs to be for quilting, because it's a thick layers here. So I'm going to just do a little test here, see how it looks. Examine the stitches to see that they're pretty even front and back. And actually that looks pretty good. So you want the stitches to be, you don't want loops, don't want it to be too loose, don't want it to be too tight. So both top and bottom actually look pretty even. So I think I'm ready to begin. I'm ready to begin on a strip. Really doesn't make any difference whatsoever which strip you do first. So I have it under the needle, and I usually begin in the middle of the first block here. Just the pattern seems to work out. Now I'm going to do a stippling pattern, going around, coming back on myself. I have to work a bit to find the right speed that gives you the right stitch length that looks good. So you can see why the gloves are useful. They help grip the fabric and help you move it around. So just go around and back on itself. Probably a half to 5/8. Remove your pins before probably a half to 5/8 inch margin between stitches. It tends not to stitch real well over the vinyl of the graphics, so I try to go around those as much as possible. Not stitch heavily, just kind of go around the graphics. She wants to skip if you're doing a design. Now I finished the first block, so I'm just going to go right to the edge here and take a look. You don't want to go too far before you find that something's not right. So there's the back. It looks pretty even. The stitches are good. Front, same thing. See the stippling pattern. So I'm pretty satisfied with the. You want to check the tension. You want to check that the density is pretty even. Okay. This is an overhead view, so you can better see the pattern of the stitching. And so you continue until you have all of your strips quilted for your quilt. In the next video, we will trim each of the strips, and we will see how the strips are joined together. And then the last step will be binding your quilt, and it will be completed. Until next time, bye-bye.